Okay, we got the video game crash is unavoidable from Mug Thief. Okay, so what is going on with the video game crash?
It's time to shoot straight. The video games industry over the last years has decided that where it can't be predatory, it's going to be disingenuous.
Oh yeah, wait, this is insane. 512 gig Series S is now only $20 cheaper than a PS5 digital, and special edition Xbox is more than the PS5 Pro, also $80 games. Oh yeah, this is what is this is going over like the console price increases. Yeah, this is like hilarious to me. Like, and this is like what the first time that video, like, over a set amount of time up until this point, every subsequent video game console has been like, as time goes on, it's gotten cheaper. But this is the first time in like ever that as time goes on with the current generation of consoles where the price increased, which is insane.
Just in the last 2 years, we've witnessed as the prices of video games go up, as budgets go up, and sometimes as earnings go up or down, but that doesn't stop hundreds upon thousands of people of getting fired from the industry. We've seen Nintendo be the first brave one to take a stand for $80 games as the new standard of variable pricing, and then we saw Xbox quickly follow suit and say that they would do the same in a push to, of course,
Microsoft raised the Xbox price to 80 and 100 will make $80 games. Oh, wow. I would love to know like how many people like you can't go like buy products or like unit sales of video games because one person could buy multiple units of a video game. I would love to know like the actual number of like unique buyers of these video games for like modern day, like the modern day like $80 like win video games. That is going to be so interesting. You know, it's only going to be like people that are, you know, quote unquote like whales
sell you on their subscription services, which, don't worry, more on the dangers of that later. Now at this point, it's everything but expected that PlayStation will follow suit, but don't you worry if they don't, because they've got themselves into plenty of trouble.
Oh shit, this is Concord. I didn't even know what shooter this was until that dude popped in. I'm like, I know that guy, that's Concord man.
So far, they invested into 13 live service games just to see them fail.
Yeah.
One after another. They obtained the crowning achievement of the biggest video game failure ever.
Firewalk, but didn't walk with me. It didn't walk with me. Concord was hilarious, dude. I mean, I don't know if they're still planning on doing that. Like all those live service games, they're probably not going to do it on this iteration, this current gen console. Do you think they still save that stuff for like the next generation? If anything, like the PlayStation, what, 6?
Relative to its investment cost. And you know what they learned from that? That Marathon is going to have an upfront price of $40 while being a live service with season passes and microtransactions. Guys, this time it'll be different because we say so. Ubisoft managed to dig a hole so deep for themselves that they are still finding the way out, and really the future of that company is very much in the air.
Was that article?
Really
Ubisoft spins out new unit for Assassin's Creed and other games. Tencent to take 1.25 billion stake.
The future of that company is very much in the air, since everything that they seem to be planning is, I don't know.
Ubisoft leak plans for Assassin's Creed game in the next 6 years. 2 RPGs, 3 remakes, 1 smaller experience, 2 multiplayer games, and 1 mobile title. Jade Assassin's Creed game. Invictus, a Fall Guys clone. Obsidian, Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake. Ooh! Black Flag is going to get a remake. Yay. Originally codenamed Neo, Hexy. Assassin's Creed Hexy is a working name scheduled to release after Shadow support ends. Shadow is scheduled to have around 2 years of DLC support. Scarlet next big RPG after Hexy ends. Stardust Another remake and will enter production. Emerald will launch shortly after Stardust with another 5-year plan. Bro, who's gonna like buy these games knowing full well that they're only gonna go like away within a couple years? Like, if that's me, well, if I had like infinite money, I wouldn't give a shit. But then again, I think most people don't really like, most people that are buying these games are probably buying them to like they don't have infinite money. I would probably guess most people that are buying these games probably make somewhere like 40 and like 60K, if anything. That's just a guess. But then again, the Ubisoft could always fall back on the logic of, well, we're just making games for our intended target audience. If their intended target audience is people with a lot of money that don't really care about the the continued support of like a live service game or whatever, then they're following their own logic. But to see all this and like, are all of these like just one-off games, or are any of these like live service games? Like 5-year plan, like what does that mean? Like, you're just gonna constantly come out with DLC for 5 years and then after that call it quits?
Make more Assassin's Creed. EA manages to continue firing talent that they have over at Respawn and canceling yet another version of Titanfall 3, while Apex Legends falls in numbers, and of course their golden goose of FIFA or EA Sports or whatever it's called has stopped making as much money as before, making all of them internally panic, and that's all before maybe their CEO just goes over to Disney. All of this continues to happen in the very same year that the best video games that you can play right now are being made by smaller studios, anywhere from 30-ish to less than 200 people, on budgets that are much smaller and being sold to you for less than what the market is asking for, without any need for season passes, microtransactions, or ways of siphoning your money with $150 cosmetic bundles in Diablo 4. And it seems that both critics and players know where the value is at. We know where quality lies, and we know who is actually fighting for a healthy industry where we get to play good games that aren't trying to trick us or trying to scrape by with the minimum viable product in order to make more money off of a hobby, a medium, an art form that seems to just be more and more gated by.
I mean, it's kind of chilling when you say it like that, like trying to make money off a hobby or a medium. And then I can look around and see a bunch of different kinds of monetization of it. Because I can see like the complete bastardization of it, which is like live service, but then I can turn around and look at like single player games. And if you take the morality out of it, it's like there's no like right or wrong way to monetize your game. I mean, I just don't know, man.
Exorbitant prices day after day. And I do truly believe that the future of video games is bright, even if in this video I do have to admit that I'm just a tad bit very angry, but that won't stop everybody from fawning over the GTA 6 trailer too. That won't stop every content creator that's criticized Nintendo under the sun from
well, yeah, because at the end of the day, when push comes to shove and given the choice between either standing on business and not buying or giving into any of these games, I mean, is to deny themselves like money, because everybody wants to be an influencer, right? Everyone wants to be a content creator, but whenever they criticize some like shady work practices of like, oh guys, it's for my job, I wouldn't be playing this game if I wasn't like a content creator. This is like, I wrote it off on my taxes, right? Of course.
From buying a Switch 2 on release day and saying that Mario Kart is great. That won't stop conversations on how Game Pass is great value until they decide that they have so many people on Game Pass that they're going to start charging you more and more for it now that you depend on it to get your new releases. And God forbid they don't start charging you a little bit extra if you want to play on day one, maybe $20 per game. And then,
oh yeah, a little bit extra on day one. And also, the day one isn't actually day one. You played it 3 days early. Just remember that. That's like super massive value. You're getting it before everybody else, because that's the profit incentive that they want to have and instill into your brain.
suddenly you start to see how at the end of the day, it's all about money. Video games as an industry make a tremendous amount of money. They are huge. We are not at the playground anymore. These companies aren't playing games. They aren't filled with naive ideas of making something enjoyable for customers. Most of what the industry has become are people desperate to make as much money as possible while having no idea what the future holds. Scared little kids reporting to shareholders without a clue of what is actually happening. Companies that have genuinely lost sight of their customer base and have decided that now is the time for them to establish one-way relationships where they can just feed us whatever they can shovel up and hopefully they'll consume it. And
I mean, like you said, I mean, this is happening mostly with like the big AAA developers today. But, you know, back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, those big AAA developers, they weren't so big. They were like up and coming like developers. Back in like what was that magazine called? Game Informer magazine days, that little thing that you got that whenever you signed up for a subscription thing and you got your EB Games card, and it's like, oh, it comes with a Game Informer subscription. So like every month you get like a magazine talking about the new video games and stuff like that. And yeah, that was really cool. I mean, if only we could have had the foresight to see that all those up and coming studios would just turn into like the gigantic monstrosities that they are today. I don't know, would you still buy it? I mean, probably, right?
by the way, guys, remember to consume it as quickly as possible because now hardware that is 3 to 4 years old can go up in price. So invest early, get in on the ground floor. I've been saying it over and over again in many.
Oh yeah, with the whole consoles of going up in price. Yeah, that's like a facade of or like another extra layer of FOMO that for the next console generation, since this has been the first generation that has the prices increased over time, that'll give more credence to the fake news that they want to believe or make you believe that, like, oh, guys, 5 years later, we're increasing the price. Okay, then you fast forward a little bit, and then the next console generation comes out, and then everybody that bought the previous console is probably going to be thinking, well, shit, I don't want to have to pay more money because the price is only going to go up. I better just get this thing on day one in order to save myself money in the future. I'd be losing money if I didn't buy it right now.
Other people have as well. The video games industry really has to change, and it is changing. But I believe that for it to truly change, not only should we be very informed of what is going on in the background and what the possibilities are, but we as customers should do everything in our power to help move this in the direction that we want and that we deserve. A lot of the decisions that are being made today in the industry are not just misguided and almost comically evil, they are wrong. Wrong as in the losing bet. A lot of the hope and beauty that exists within video games today is found in the small pockets and corners that the industry has to offer that often don't get the spotlight they deserve. And we have to constantly remember that video games isn't something that they get to dictate. Video games are ours. It's everyone's. It's a medium, an art form, a hobby, whatever it means to you that we get to decide. So at this,
I mean, and I think the main platform that demonstrates that, as hilarious as it is probably going to be Roblox. You know, that's what a lot of kids are playing on. It's Roblox. But what, you know, Roblox is having like a ton of issues, right? But you know, a new game comes out and then like a week goes by, there's most likely like a clone of that game on Roblox. That's usually what ends up happening. It can't be the exact same one, right? But it's like pretty close.
Point in what I believe is a pretty clear case of AAA and the largest corporations in the space headed straight for a video game crash. I think it's time to take stock of the situation and talk about those things. So, hi, I'm Mug. And if you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here,
I'm new.
welcome back. I'll admit, I'm not feeling great today. I could do with a pick-me-up, but
Same.
you're looking amazing. But that's just you, as per usual. If you enjoyed this video, if you think that the information contained here, information that I've covered in detail for every single one of these things before, if that's something worth sharing, make sure to hit the like button. That helps this video reach farther in the YouTube algorithm, and it is incredibly appreciated. And in the back of your mind somewhere, keep the idea alive that maybe you can subscribe if you like the way that I cover things. Normally, it's a lot more optimistic, but sometimes we need to just talk about stuff. So, hey, maybe check out the channel. If I earn your subscription, that'd be cool. Let's get into it. So here's the deal. I said that it's not just that some of the
Still great at its core, not just a great trajectory. Apex. The lost potential.
decisions that these companies are making are comically evil. It's that they are wrong. And that's because they are. And we have evidence of such, and we have a ton of people talking about it with plenty more hands-on experience than I do, by the way. The great video game boom that has happened and that also blew up all over again during the pandemic has shown us now exactly what the market is for video games and how the expanding demographic of it has a limit. The
expanding demographic, aka everyone that played in the 80s is all old and they have jobs and they save a little bit of money and they can continue playing their favorite hobby. They're all in their 30s and 40s, dude. That's how the demographics are expanding. And then maybe if they have kids, they'll, you know, show their kids how fun video games is as a hobby. And, you know, maybe the kids will play. But yeah, I mean, video games aren't just for like kids anymore. I mean, they still mostly are, but
pie doesn't have infinite slices. But what's become clear is that some of the biggest companies, the ones that theoretically should show us the direction of the future of video games, didn't know how to handle it. Mostly by the nature of being publicly traded and incentivized to make as much money as possible, which for a pretty long time meant that your best return on investment was live service games, a market that they somehow believed could be infinite and never ending. More daily missions, more season and battle pass.
bro, what is this gun? This looks like the worst gun I have ever seen. Like you shoot a slow moving projectile. What is it? Does it like home in? Is this supposed to be like a, you know what this reminds me of? A shittier version of the Needler from Halo. Because I don't know if these like little balls track, but this is absolutely like horrible.
Cram the microtransactions as deep as you can. I'm sure that if we release 17 of these things in the same year, people won't be saturated and tired of it. People won't feel like we're just trying to sneak our hands into their pockets. But that was the play. That was the most money possible. It didn't matter how many times you failed. It seemed like such a surefire success that just getting one live service off the ground was enough to make just boatloads of money. What's even funnier though is that there was another current that still existed within these big companies, and that was people just want bigger and better. Just go crazy. Follow the trends and make more of the trends into the trends of a giant box of Ubisoft towers and loot progression RPGs and just whatever.
Yeah, the copy paste formula of like Assassin's Creed is like the most chief offender of this idea. Yeah, like I think the last Assassin's Creed I played was Black Flag. I never bothered with any of that new stuff, but yeah, I 100% get it that it's like, oh, we see the trend of, they saw the success of Elden Ring and what that brought and how beloved that shit was. So every game, not every game, but there's a lot of games that have taken on that idea of like, oh, just make it open world, essentially, and then just add a bunch of bullshit in there and add up space, add up walking time, make it take a long time to get from point A to point B, and all this other stuff. I mean, it's in there. It's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's hard to say.
You can think of. Cram it all into one, but it also needs to be spectacular. So for it to work, we need some of the largest budgets ever seen within the video game industry. We need teams that are gigantic and held down by bloat and internal corporate mandate ladders that just directly lead to miscommunication and lack of efficiency. We need to spend oodles of money because that guarantees we're going to make oodles back. Have all of that efficiency be damned, have the idea of sustainability be damned, and then eventually, of course, have the jobs of real people that were just trying to make their dreams come true.
As opposed to the jobs of the AI robots that are trying to take all of the real people jobs. I mean, I get it, but if that was the case, I mean, AI doesn't use itself, right? Who uses AI? People. People use AI. So, as noble as it is to want to have your game be entirely handcrafted by a person, it's like I used to take on the fact that like I don't really like connect or make it a requirement that like I give a shit about the developers of a video game, because I never really have. I don't care about the working conditions, just make a good game. But since the working conditions are changing and now people are moralizing like all about, oh, this game has AI in it, I don't want to play it or whatever. It was like a person still made that, and not only did they do that, they weren't forced to do it. That person chose to use AI in the game. So it's like, what, you have to all of a sudden now align your thought process on how the game is made with the game makers? I mean, you can if you want, but it's just, it starts to get like very like silly logic, I think.
Be damned. The funniest interaction, the way that all of this bloat and excessive budgets and just out of control spending with unrealistic expectations for the return eventually did combine multiple times with chasing live services and the idea of making the best of those.
The rumored $300 million budget. I heard it was like up to $500 million.
Just to see them flop and realize that maybe that wasn't a good idea. It turns out that you can pump out like 7 live services, 6 of them fail, and 1 makes all of that money back, plus some. But if you also make all of those projects incredibly expensive and all 7 of them flop, I guess they never thought about if that was a possibility, huh? Who'd have thunk that people in charge of running businesses don't seem to really know how to run businesses? But it's fine, guys. Just raise the prices of games and we'll be fine. We'll make the customer pay for our mistakes.
Just make
that really
price go up.
Feels like it's it, huh? Like we've spent the last years watching as these companies make mistakes, and then they try and blame us for them, and they definitely want to have us pay the price.
I mean, not just financially, but also like morally on like the cast of games as well, injecting political ideologies into games. Or just being like a bad delivery about it, like making it too like tongue in cheek, making it too obvious versus like you could be a political activist in a game, but like and have political thoughts in the game and also have a good story. You know, look at Metal Gear Solid, fantastic example of politics in games. Yeah.
They constantly sneak in the worst of the worst. At first, digital was meant to be a commodity, something that would offer the customer endless benefits. At first, digital meant that we could cut out the supply chains and that the savings of that would be passed on to the customer. Play your games on different consoles just by signing into your account. Download the game, pre-download it. You don't have to leave your house or order from Amazon. Just have it right there, straight on your machine. It even loads faster, we promise. But also remember, you don't own anything, and we're going to keep selling you this game for the next 20 years, as we don't know how to make money anymore. So I guess we'll just sell what we saw sold again. The customer is never at the forefront. They don't want us to enjoy.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're talking about like remasters, I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world to come out with like a remaster with like updated graphics and a little bit of updated mechanics of the game. I thought, like, I played like, what is this, Oblivion remaster? I thought this was fine. This is a good faith effort at a good remaster. But if they're going to do it again in another like 20 years, graphics would have to be like exponentially better. Like the next remaster of this Oblivion, it would have to be so goddamn close to like photorealism, dude. Then maybe I could justify it, but like outside of that, I don't think so.
Their games. They don't want us to like the brand. They don't want us to trust them. They want us to pray that the next time that they do something that's good, it's not bogged down and marred by absolute garbage that is intended to make us spend more money. Even the greatest games and the best examples we have of companies that actually have learned to pivot from this, that are betting on more traditional video games and just offering the customer a worthwhile experience, are still bogged down by these things. I love Monster Hunter Wilds, and honestly, the microtransactions in that game really don't matter, but they
don't, but there's like over 200 microtransactions in the game, buying random little like charms or like pendants, like wardrobe outfits, random ass things. I could bring this up on Steam for like $1 or $2. I mean, there's no pay for power, I get it, but it would have been nice to been able to earn all of that stuff in the game in some way, shape, or form, versus just paying money to get it. Keep me playing that way.
They're there. Somebody at corporate needed those things to be there, and they are. Sneakily and aggressively, while we were sleeping, this hobby transformed from something where we were at the forefront, where happiness and enjoyment was the name of the game, where escapism was the priority for so many people, and it turned into an industry where we are cattle, and we exist to be milked, but not anymore. Until the bubble bursts. Here are the straight facts.
Yep, now you can have... Now there is no escaping. Now there is no escapism. You can have all the reminders of that you're a loser in real life in the game.
Numbers are declining. People are moving away from these predatory live services. They are disenchanted with the promises that $80 games come with. They want to reward fantastic games, and we're already starting to see the signs of people pivoting away from it. Ironically enough, Take-Two with Mafia: The Old Country announced that it's a $50 game, a linear narrative experience, and that there should be a place for those games to exist. Will it be worth $50? Who knows, but at least they're standing up for something that should be there, because the system has been broken. It's been broken for a while, slowly trending downwards, dying, and as all of the dinosaurs are panicking because the meteor is crashing down, they really don't know what to do or what to chase with their gigantic, monolithic corporations filled with thousands upon thousands of employees. I guess we'll remake every Assassin's Creed then. I guess we'll turn video games in general into...
Bro, like, could you imagine that? Did they remake Assassin's Creed 1 yet? Let me see. Did Ubi Soft remake. Assassin's Creed 1 yet. Yes, they will officially, while not officially confirmed developer, it's widely reported to support Ubisoft's comment that a remake of the first Assassin's Creed is in development. Oh, wow. That's crazy. I did not know that. I played Assassin's Creed 1. I remember when I got the magazine that debuted Altair on the front cover, because he's like pushing some people on the side and he's got like the little blade on his arm with the no ring finger. It's crazy. Oh no. Full reimagining. The game will be rebuilt from the ground up with changes to mission design, combat, and character development. Oh, they're probably gonna like copy paste it from like modern day Assassin's Creed and put it in here. Oh shit. I'm not, and I can't really defend Assassin's Creed 1 gameplay. It wasn't that great either. Ugh. I had no idea.
Subscription services. Even if the games are good, the inherent dangers of having that be pushed upon us, not as an option, but as the only logical one, are there and are as dangerous as what we've seen with subscription services pretty much everywhere else. Not to get too Black Mirror on you, but do you really think that your loading screens couldn't have advertisements in them eventually?
They
Better
could.
upgrade to Game Pass Ultimate Gold. And trust me, I don't like
Ultimate Gold, Ultimate Platinum, Super Diamond Edition, Game Pass Diamond. Absolutely no ads. And then what's the next gatekeep for like division of ads or division of ad watchers? You have like, because Hulu is doing it, I think, right now, because you got like free Hulu. It's like full ads, like a minute plus or maybe 3 minutes, and it's divided up. And then you got like the next level, and maybe it's not just Hulu, maybe it's other ones. And then you got like the shortened ads or the abbreviated ads where it's like, it's got like the circle and it goes like 45, or maybe it's like 60, 59, 58. And then it goes around the ring. And then this other type of ad, it maybe starts at like 30, but then 15 seconds in, it goes to like the skip ad button. But there's got to be like another iteration. There's got to be like the fourth iteration where it's like absolutely no ads, or maybe it's like a quick 5-second ad break. You're gonna watch the rest of it, or if you click this thing to like upgrade from like the previous version, you make the skip ad button happen after 5 seconds, or maybe the skip ad button like spawns in permanent, or not permanently, but like instantly, as opposed to like doing the ring, the timer ring first is like the next iteration.
Remembering a lot of the things that I did before my current job and also YouTube, but I've spent a lot of time in rooms where the decisions happen. And it doesn't matter how cartoonishly evil you might think something is. Somebody said it and a shareholder smiled at it. All right, fine then. But that's just them slowly falling. That doesn't actually indicate a new direction. That doesn't actually give us what we want, which is great video games to enjoy at prices that we are comfortable with and that give us experiences that we believe are worth our time and money. But that's been changing. That's been changing over the last 2 years. Those who were ahead of the game already sensed what was happening within the industry, and they started changing things around. More and more games that are harkening back to how they used to be, that are putting the customer at the forefront, and never has that been more clear than this very year, a year that is filled up to this moment with the best games coming from none of the biggest names.
Yeah.
From first-time projects that...
Well, yeah, because the big timers, the AAA devs, they take like 10 years to make a new game.
Have absolutely blown us away with what a team of 33 people are capable of doing, to the commitment to make one of the greatest RPGs of all time. To screw it, it doesn't matter if we have to put the company on the line, we're gonna make a visual novel that contains the equivalent of 60 paperbacks in script. You see, one of the great advantages of video games now switching up their prices all over the place. Who knows what's going to be 80? Who knows what's going to be the price of GTA 6? Who knows what pretty much anything is going to be? Customers get to just sit down and look for the things that they want most.
I think GTA 6 is going to be like the ring bearer of like bad news for like future video games prices. Like once they rip that like $80-$90 band-aid off, it's I don't think we're coming back from it.
Either the best of the best in a crowded and expensive market, or the things that cater very specifically to what they would like. And in that environment of confusion through word of mouth, through critics, through comment sections, through whatever you want, the best of the best will rise. And we're seeing that happen, and we're seeing them embarrass the bloated systems that came before. We are seeing the studios and newer companies and publishers that are actually treating video games as something that should be thought of as a long-term sustainable combination of consumer products and art succeed. And boy, does it feel good. Now look, I've said this many times and I will say it again, but at the moment, either right now or coming up very soon, video games are in a golden age. Transition and change and disruption are good, especially for us, the customer that just wants to play great games.
Yeah.
The circumstances offer opportunity for breakthrough hits, for word of mouth to champion those who actually care about their customers. It leads to us being more informed and more willing to make our voices heard against the things that we don't want to see and putting our wallets where it matters and support.
I mean, yeah, there is that. I mean, this is like a great time to have like an unprecedented amount of like player-driven feedback because of like online content creators or whatever. But I guess it really depends on the developer of whether or not they listen to like their player base or not. I mean, that back and forth is always going to be there. Players always going to advocate for themselves. Developers always going to advocate for the opposite. Yeah.
Supporting the things we do. It's the opportunity for us to build out a whole new generation of the video game industry and everything that surrounds it, more along the lines of what we would like to see. And it doesn't matter how convinced you are that there's too many slop enjoyers out there. If there's one thing I strongly believe about video games and the culture and the people who love them, is that we can all pretty much agree when something is really good. Because here's the truth. Here's the thing I wanted to talk about with...
I mean, kind of. Like, what do you talk about when something is good? Like, a game is good or, like, a good monetization practice? I mean, I've had conversations with a ton of people about video games, and, like, they, like, one set of people can think one thing is good, and the other set of people think it's like, no, it's not good, or whatever. One set of people can think that this monetization model is good because XYZ. Other set of people will think this monetization model is bad because XYZ. I mean, I would like to think people can tell like what's good and bad, but like there's always gonna be like a good chunk of people that they just I don't know, they don't know what's good and bad, and they only play something simply because of the fact that it's there. So that's their perspective, and if that's the only thing that they've done, it's like, well, that's good because that's the only thing that they've done. So that I don't know.
This video, I am angry. I am. And I spend most of my videos smiling and telling you guys that it's going to be all right, and that's because it is. That doesn't stop my anger and my disappointment at so many things that are happening. But it also doesn't stop how grateful I am at the incompetence and the absurd decisions that a lot of companies make that are now giving us this opportunity, but it's one that we have to seize.
Yeah.
When the giant companies are crumbling, when they're nervous and they don't know what could happen, when there's a real chance that the wind blowing in the wrong direction could topple them over, that is when we have the most power. And that is when we need to exercise it. Put your money where your mouth.
I mean, yeah. But at the end of the day, like, let's say some AAA studio decided to shut down. Like, everybody at the top levels, they're chilling. They're made of millions. Everyone at the mid level, they're made of like hundreds of thousands, maybe millions. Like, the real losers are the people that are developing, like the low level, like not low level, but like, you know what I mean, like the entry level developers, maybe senior developers and stuff like that, where maybe they've been at a studio for a while, and then they just decide to, okay, guys, we're closing up shop. It's done. And then all of a sudden they're just out of a job. I mean, me as like like an audience, like a video game player, what am I gonna do? Or what are most people gonna do? They're just gonna move on to something else, some other game. That's what would happen.
Is and enjoy some great video game. Even when I get keys for games, if I think they're great, I'll just buy another copy because it might sound stupid or whatever, but I actually believe in video games and I want them to succeed, and every sale there matters because I might be naive and stupid, but I believe that's how things should be. We are headed for great times because today the generation that controls what video games are is no longer a bunch of kids begging their parents to buy them the latest Super Nintendo game.
I mean, it kind of is. Like, it's that they're just buying their parents for their credit card to buy Robux. That's the next generation of gamers.
It's us. It's informed, educated adults with disposable income struggling to make ends meet most of the time, but people who really care about what these things represent and want them to be better. In my mind, there is no way that the future of video games is incredibly bright and beautiful, but I think we need to be aware of the dangers of how we got to the lowest point that we've been at ever. A crushing dichotomy of the worst and the best at the same time, and I don't think the decision has ever been easier. So please, make your voices heard. Don't let this opportunity slip us by. And thank you for watching. I hope that this video helped to highlight just where we stand at the moment, and how bad and how good it can get. And
Yeah.
if anything, I ask you to please leave here with a sense of optimism. A very special thanks to the members and patrons up on the...
That's a lot of people. Overall, that's a good video. I like it. I mean, it only took me 4 months to watch it whenever I put it on the little watch later thing. But, yeah, I mean, we're still here. Everything in price is going up. I still think, like, there might be, like, a temporary, like, lull in games right now or whatever, but it don't matter. I mean, there's an absolute metric shit ton of games to play thus far. I mean, like, what's the vibes everyone's feeling? Like, don't buy $80 games. We all have huge backlogs. We can actually start digging into those and wait for the games to drop down to their face price or just skip them altogether. True. I mean, I don't really, like, if I was gonna say I don't really buy games on day one anymore, but I actually do sometimes. I don't foresee myself doing it in the future. It's only because the actual games are nostalgic to me. I mean, because I can just show you, I bought Borderlands 4, not day one, but like a week went by, or I bought Monster Hunter Wilds on was it day one or day two? I don't fucking remember. But outside of this stuff, I mean, I usually wait till that shit goes on at least a 50%, if not more, like sale. I mean, at least going off Steam. I can't really say the same thing for like console people. I mean, did the console people like have like sales. I don't know. I hear nothing from Nintendo, but whatever. Um, this is why I haven't been telling people to start buying. I've been telling people to start buying used consoles and games that they've never played instead of anything new. Wow, go used. Yeah, that is a. It's kind of a similar effect to the whole Steam sales thing. A high game price is no longer indicative of a good game. It just means that some folks in suits that never have played games themselves is at the top. Yeah. I mean, I would probably venture to say that they would also just say something along the lines of just do the industry standard. We don't want to make a ruckus amongst the consumer base, right? They probably want to fit in, but also kind of want to make money because if they can get away with coming out with some like multiple versions of the game where it's like base game is 70, plus one version, or the gold version is like plus 90, and then the Giga Platinum version is like $130, right? A couple Ubisoft games have done that in the past, right? You know, as soon as they can, they're trying to make money every which way, hand over foot. But yeah. I mean, who knows if it's gonna go up to $70 base game, or up to like 80, 90, or even $100 for base games anymore. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, there may be a crash. Maybe it is coming. We'll see what happens when GTA 6 comes out, man. That's gonna be a big linchpin in gaming history. But yeah, overall, cool video, man. But I'm a fan now. But that is gonna be it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.